I'm Andrea Torassa. I'm CEO and co-founder of Argo. What is Argo? Argo is our AI SaaS solution for the hospitality industry and restaurants chain that in real time adapts menus, prices, promotions, and the supply process to maximize revenues, reduce cost, and reduce food waste. Where did we start from? We started from this major problem that are like 150 million tons of food wasted in the US and Europe alone every year, which is, just to give an example, equal to the Empire State Building just 100 times every year. So this is where we start from. And in addition to this, we also had the big problem this year of the food cost increase of 36% year over year with everything that's going on with Ukraine after COVID situation and so on. And also in terms of restaurants, an erosion of the operating margin, also due to the third-party services like delivery apps that can eat up to 30% of the restaurant's profit. So here, what we're trying to do is to help the hospitality world in achieving becoming more sustainable in terms of sustainable communities, responsible consumption, but as well, we're also looking at the financial side of it. So trying to increase the profitability of restaurant chain and the hospitality world. Just to explain a little bit what is Argo, today restaurants are basically, to summarize, companies that usually have fixed menus. They have a lot of data, but they have a very limited use of it. And therefore, the customer experience is usually quite standard. What we're trying to achieve with Argo is an increase of revenue that we obtained approximately 20% with our pilot in Italy, a reduced food waste, which was up to 30% with our client, and the personalized experience together with the personalized upsell and cross-sell. A little bit of who we are to explain you how we got to this point. It's myself and Emilio, the co-founders of the company. We started working together almost more than 10 years ago, actually, for Carnival Corporation. We've been living together. We also managed a data consulting company, and we have, let me say, a strong experience both in hospitality and data analytics. And this kind of led us to create Argo because we saw an opportunity within an industry with a lot of data, but a limited use of it. Currently, there are 6 people working full-time in Argo, and we developed the tool end-to-end. Our clients, as I mentioned, are mostly restaurant chains, virtual restaurants, and hotels with restaurants as well. So we go across all the hospitality industry, which is a big market. I mean, I don't need to say a lot of this on this slide. Our revenue model is basically on per branch per month. We established this amount of 1,000 euros because it's a limited cost for each restaurant. It's easy to calculate for us, and it also applies to all business sizes. Where we are, we have done and completed a 2nd generation working prototype. We have a paying customer in Italy with 9 food brands, and we got some funding from the Italian government, approximately 350K. We are in the process of approving 2 different patents in Europe. What is our short-term goal? This is a photo of Tel Aviv because we are also based in Israel at the moment. We're trying to get funding for 2 million euros to use mostly in the tech and data science part and 40% of marketing and sales. And we're also currently looking for a pilot with a medium chain to improve the market fit. So we're looking for somebody a little bit bigger than our client to do so, as well as business connection to accelerate the market penetration. And I think that's it. This is our contact, and it should be slightly less than 5 minutes. So if you have any question.
Very well done with 15 seconds to spare. 15 seconds to spare. Let me bring back Daniel and Michael. And Michael, do you want to kick it off? Do you have any questions for Andrea?
Yeah, I guess I would also love to hear from you, Andrea, kind of the more about the founding story about, of why you decided to tackle this particular problem, and more about the team that you are tackling it with.
So we have a background in building, forecasting, and revenue optimization systems in the hospitality, mostly in the tourism industry. Both my business partner and I, we've done this in different places around the world, and our work has always been to take the best out of data and optimize revenues out of it. Therefore, we saw an opportunity because there are really a lot of data in the restaurant world, but it's very hard to find companies that use them in a dynamic way to also improve the customer experience. And that's where we started, basically. In terms of team, we are 6 people, so there's the 2 of us with a little bit more of a business background, even though my business partner has also is more focused on the product development as well, while the rest of the team is really just product development. So we have a couple of engineers and a data scientist working on the algorithm and improving the tech scalability of the tool.
Great, thank you.
So I'm curious, exactly how are you increasing revenues and decreasing costs?
Yeah, so basically we act on 2 different parts. One are the menus and promotions. So for each, imagine you are a chain of restaurant with different location across the country or different location across the city. Your customer will be different based on the time of the day. So on Tuesday lunch, it's different from Friday evening, and also based on the location. So your market will be completely different. We take the data, we take the sales data, and we also take external data, the weather, events, market preferences. So we try to scrape a lot of data about our customer and their cities. We put this together, and first of all, we try to create a forecast for each restaurant and each time of the week. We create a forecast for each dish, and we tell the restaurant, look, for this day in this location, this should be your menu made up of these 5, 10, 15 dishes, and this should be the pricing. What we also do instead for the cost side is that we take the supply data, we take the inventory data in real time. So every time there is a sale, we reduce the inventory accordingly. And we tell the restaurant, look, you bought too much meat, it's going to expire tomorrow, so you should make a promotion for the burgers today, push it out to your customer on your app or whatever you have, and use this pricing. So at least you don't lose this money and the food doesn't go to the trash.
Thanks.
I mean, it sounds awesome. So you said you've been working with a pilot customer now. Could you share a little more details in terms of how long that's been, what the volumes were, so we know what those percentages increases are based off of?
Yeah, so our customer is a chain of virtual restaurants, means they have a restaurant that just exists on the delivery apps. They don't have physical seating. But they have 9 brands. They've been operating for a couple of years, and their goal was to scale up. So they need to digitalize everything, and they were doing a lot of stuff manually, both on the inventory and the pricing. What we did for them was really a full implementation of everything. We kind of built also an ERP for them, and we implemented this a couple of months ago, and we started to we made basically to check the percentage. We made some A/B testing with what they did before, same year previous, same period previous year. We are tracking everything they are doing in terms of purchase of food, labor cost, and so on, and we're also tracking daily their sales through their apps. So in fact, all the data go through our systems. They have a dashboard that we feed on a daily basis, and they have some reporting that we generate for them.
Do you take the data from multiple chains to update or to optimize pricing for other restaurants? So you've got 20 different restaurants in San Francisco, and you can see supply and demand from different places. Do you own the data, or do the customers own the data?
The customer owns the data. There are some data that we scrape and we identify internally, which we own, but most of the data that we are using for the algorithm is internal. Then, if we target San Francisco, we want to track all the events that are in town, sport and so on, which will affect consumer demand as well as the weather. It rains a lot of delivery, this kind of stuff. These are data that we scrape centrally, but supply and all the sales, it's all data that remains in customers' hands.
Daniel, Michael?
Yeah, I have one more question. I'd love to just hear more detail from you on your strategy in terms of go-to-market and scaling, right? I think that for me, I am curious if there are network effects or ways in which you could plausibly reach scale quickly in what I think of generally as a pretty fractured market.
Well, I mean, let me start saying that we mostly target chains, so because there's going to be much more value for them. I mean, we can deliver value to any single restaurant, but of course, the bigger it is, the bigger the benefit we can bring. So for those, we're trying to target them in sort of an individual basis, and then scale up in terms of extending the geography and extending potentially internationally. What we're also trying to do is to get in contact and get partnership with payment systems, ERP systems, and food delivery apps, which have a large customer base and on which we can, in a way, integrate because they have the data that we are actually using for our algorithm, but they can also give us some access to the market.